Okay, so welcome to your practice. So for this class, it's going to be a more breath-led focused practice, and all yoga and movement practices are breath-led or do talk a lot about the breath, but I really want us to focus in on the breath and our habits and patterns of breathing. And the main takeaway that I want us to have at the end of this class is that there's no correct way to breathe. There is just ways to breathe and ways to experience the breath. So we will breathe, and our experience of the breath will be different when we're, say, lying down, relaxing, versus when we're in a standing balancing posture, because the muscles of our body are working in different ways, and we have a different relationship to gravity, and this all has an impact on how we experience the breath and how we breathe. So a really small, tiny, basic bit of anatomy to do with the mechanics of breathing and how that relates to the cells. Really basic anatomy. So oxygen comes in through the nose and down, it branches down into the lungs, and there's these globules, and these globules are surrounded by capillaries, so that blood and oxygen can move across, and so this oxygen-rich blood then gets pumped, or not pumped, but then is moved back into the heart, and then the heart then sends it around the body. So via the arteries into smaller and smaller and smaller pathways, so that every part of the body, bones, muscles, all the viscera, everything gets, the cells then can take the oxygen, metabolize it, so that they breathe, the cells breathe themselves. And as they metabolize, they create waste, and that CO2 then gets taken from the cell back into the bloodstream through the veins, into the heart, back into the lungs. That exchange happens in the lungs, and then up and out into the environment. And this happens all the time. So we breathe and our cells breathe, which I think is quite a lovely thing to contemplate, that we are constantly being breathed. And then that brings up another question of, are we doing the breath or are we receiving the breath? So it's all about volume change. So as we increase volume on the inhale, oxygen is moved in because there's more space. And then as we exhale, we decrease the volume in the rib cage, in the thoracic cavity. And so there's more space outside. So the air is then drawn out of the body. So are we actually even doing breath? So that's another interesting thing to contemplate of how the universe is breathing us, this sort of ocean of breath, and we get to dance with that breath for our lifespan. I just think that's quite a lovely poetic way to think about the breath as we move. So I'm going to stop talking, and I think now we can get on with the practice. And just a reminder that I'm not here to confuse you about the breath. If I stop talking about the breath, just breathe and have fun with it. And top takeaway is that there's no right way to breathe. It's all in your own experience. The truth is in your own experience. Okay, so with all that said, let's take a moment to lie down. So come to lie down on any surface of your body. So you can lie on your back, you can lie on your side, you can lie on your stomach. I'm just going to be here because it's easier for me with the mic on my clothes, but you can lie on any surface. And then allow the eyes to close. And before anything happens, let the weight of your body feed into the ground. And as your body starts to rest and feel that support of the floor beneath you, let your attention drift onto the rhythm of your breath. And no need to change the breath. So if you notice, as soon as we bring attention to the breath, it almost knows it's being watched, and it kind of changes a little bit underneath your focus. So once the breath is kind of accustomed to your attention, let it go back to its natural rhythm and just be with it. Follow the inhale and follow the exhale with your attention. And what do you notice as you breathe? Where do you sense the breath the most? Do you feel more movement in the chest, in the ribs, or perhaps in the belly? Is there a place that you feel that there's more movement happening now? Again, there's no right answer, it's just noticing. And then when you're ready, let the eyes open and collect your knees into your chest. And I like to go one at a time. And as you bring the thighs close, let the thighs move from side to side, lightly pressing through the palms as you do. Maybe even let the neck rock. So feeling that where the neck and the skull meet, there's a little rocking happening there. A little, kind of a small oscillation of the neck. And then roll to one side and slowly make your way up to Sukhasana. So Sukhasana is a kind of a cross-legged position, but not with the heels close to you. So have one shin and then the other shin in front of each other. So when you look down, I can see a kind of triangle between my legs. And you can also sit up on a prop if that's comfortable. Let's go, it doesn't matter what leg you have in front actually, just remember what one you have in front. And then from here, let's bring our hands onto the knees. Let the eyes find a spot on the floor to gently focus on. And then encourage the shoulders to melt away from the tips of the ears. Acknowledge the weight of your body feeding down into the ground as the crown and the back of the neck lengthens towards the ceiling. So there's a feeling of spaciousness, hopefully, in the torso and in the spine. Good. So from here, take a really gentle inhale and lift your chest, keeping the back ribs open. Maybe even look to where the ceiling meets the wall. And then exhale, return back to your neutral, looking forward. So these are very small movements. Inhale into your back ribs. So let the spine round a little, but keep the heart open at the front. Again, really subtle movement. And then exhale, find the lift from the abdominals as you come center. Let's do that one more time. So inhale into the front ribs, almost. Imagine like you could inhale into the chest. And then exhale, use the exhale, return back to that long seat. And then inhale, flex the spine, and let the rib cage expand. So feeling the depth of the ribs here. And then exhale, return back to center. Good. And then interlace your hands and press your palms forward. Inhale, push the palms forward and round the spine. And then use the exhale breath to raise the arms up and the spine up. Take an inhale at the top. And then exhale, return. So we're using the exhale breath as a returning breath. Inhale, press the palms forward, little flex of the spine. Exhale, return, so feel the spine go long, and then inhale, reach the arms up, like the spine and the arms are emerging from the exhale. And then exhale, release now the hands to the thighs. Let's go opposite hand to knee and twist. So whatever leg you have in front, do the opposite hand. So from here, don't go to your deepest twist. Maybe directionally, you're just pointing towards the front knee. And then inhale, round the back, ever so slightly. And then exhale, let the spine emerge upward and twist. Let's do that twice more. So inhale, rounding. So anatomically, the spine actually flexes ever so slightly to receive the inhale. And then exhale as you return. There's a sense of gathering and lifting. One more time. Inhale, allow the breath to fill the back of the body. Exhale, lift from the very base, support and twist. Maybe even look behind you and let the eyes follow. And then slowly come back center. So this is quite small, detailed work. And then exchange the legs. So this time we're going to move the sides, the back side to side. So bring the hands around the ribs. If this isn't comfortable, bring the thumbs forward, but I'm wrapping the thumbs round. And then from here, let's use the exhale to bend to one side. Again, I don't mind if you go right or left first. And then inhale, feel that top rib lift into your hand, and that's the breath that brings you up. So this time we'll use the exhale breath to bend to one side, sit bones planted. And then inhale into that top hand, use that inhale to lift you up. Again, exhale, lift and fall, so you're not collapsing. And then inhale, feel it's almost like the diaphragm, that muscle at the base of the rib cage, that's the muscle that's pulling you up. Last time, exhale, lift and fall, let the head drape. Inhale, expand that lung, that top ribs, and slowly come back center. Actually, let's add the arms just one time out to the side. So exhale, drop and send the arm over, and you might experience a little bit more sense of stretch in the muscles of the body, in the soft tissue. Use the inhale breath to lift you up and come center, and then exhale over to the other side, and again pause, breathe. Again, sensing perhaps a little bit more of the soft tissue of your body. And then using the inhale breath and a little push from the hand to come up. And then let's twist the other side. So opposite hand to knee. Start with the sternum, so the center of the chest, kind of pointing in the same direction as that front knee. Inhale into the back body, so let the shoulder blades move apart. And then exhale, grow your spine upward and twist. And let's do that twice more, yeah? Inhale, little, a bow of the head and spine, and then exhale, twist. Last time, inhale into the back of the body. The lungs sit lower at the back than they do at the front, so give space for the lungs to expand with the breath. And then exhale, twist, and maybe look behind you and take the eye line behind you as well, without the eyebrows coming up round the skull. And then slowly come center. Take a moment to pause, eyes soft, let the shoulders move off the ears. Good, and then now let's sweep the legs around. So come onto an all fours position. So hands under shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And take your focus just in front of your hands. So imagine drawing a triangle on the mat, and you're looking at the very peak of the triangle that's pointing towards the top of your mat. And before we move, can you feel weight of your bones planting and growing down to the earth? Yeah. So from here, this is going to be a super slow cat-cow, by the way. So the exhale breath will be the returning breath. So let's start with an inhale. So begin with the tail wrapping under. Inhale to the space between your shoulder blades. And then exhale, return back to your neutral. Then inhale, send the chest forward, lift your tail, go to a comfortable level. Exhale, return, lengthen through the crown. Inhale, tailbone moves first to initiate as you round the spine. Let the head go. Inhale, unravel. Exhale, unravel. Inhale, flood the chest forward, watchful of your lower back. Exhale, regroup and come back to center. And then from here, press the hands forward and rock your bum back, but don't collapse. And then inhale, shift forward, hands and knees. Exhaling, pressing the hands forward, shifting back. Inhaling, let the inhale be the impetus that brings you forward. Exhale, releasing and softening. Inhaling, shifting forward, kind of energizing. This time, exhale all the way into Balasana. So bringing your big toes to touch, knees can track a little wider so that your spine can kind of fall comfortably down between the legs. Reach the hands forward. Let's keep the elbows lifted without locking them. But the elbows lifted and the forehead meets the ground or your block or a cushion. So when you're here, I'm going to lift my head just for a little, but you keep your head down just so I can be heard. So as you move into Balasana, into a comfortable forward position, again, let the body meet the earth and let the belly rise and fall with the breath without force. So the belly falling between the thighs and lifting off the floor on the breath. And then from here, look forward a little bit. And then push through the shins, come back onto hands and knees, inhale. And then exhale, reorient yourself as you come all the way down to your belly. Yeah, and have the feet apart, the tops of the feet grounded. And then let's bring the fingertips forward a little bit so the shoulders are not squeezing, pinching. But then roll the shoulders up, back and away. So they're not dropping and they're not squeezing. They're kind of floating happily, like liquid shoulders. Exhale and experience, if possible, some length from crown to toes. And from that length, inhale into cobra. So no weight into the hands for this moment. And then exhale, lengthen and lower the forehead down. And from that length, inhale, float the chest up, maybe hover the hands. Exhale, go long as you release down. And then emerge back into the inhale into cobra pose. Exhale, release down. Hands shift underneath the shoulders. Feel the abdominal. So if you exhale through the mouth here, notice that accessory muscles start to engage. So you might feel your abdominals, the pelvic floor starting to lift. So as you're doing a forceful exhale rather than a passive. And then use that energy to push yourself up. Good, and then bring your weight back, keep your toes tucked. So we're now going to find down dog. So find the hands in the ground. Feel the outer arms wrap down a little bit. Avoid locking the elbows. Exhale again. You can use a slightly more active exhale by lifting the abdominals, lifting the pelvic floor, and then feel the bones of your spine kind of fall into the legs as you slowly come up into down dog. And when you get there, you might want to separate the feet wider. You may wish to bend the knees. You might want to lengthen the down dog. So let's go for quite a longer down dog. Yeah. So here, bending the knees just to come off the hamstrings can be useful. Let the ears come between the arm bones. And then, if possible, can you release your abdominal wall? Avoid gripping, squeezing, doing anything. Let the arms and the legs do the work. Hold you in place. And then allow the abdominals to soften as you breathe.
What do you notice? And then from here, start to walk the feet forward to your hands. Take as many steps as you need. Come into a ragdoll. Options to take the elbows. Soft knees as you sway side to side and let the head drape. Let the muscles of the face go all floppy. And then from here, bring the hands to the shins and we'll come to the halfway lift. So come all the way up. Don't worry about the breaths at the moment. Let's just get ourselves into position. And you can always use a chair or a block. Notice if you're sinking back into your heels or you're sinking too much into the toes. Can you find weight on heels and balls of feet? Let the toes spread. Inhale, let the spine round ever so slightly. Really minuscule movement, inhale. And then exhale, send the spine long. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, a slight rounding of the upper back, widening of the ribs. Exhaling, lengthening and finding that support through the center of the body. Hands to the hips and in one piece come all the way up. And then stand tall. Or should I say, stand comfortably. Spaciously. Good. So now we'll do a variation of lunging sun salute. So bringing the feet underneath your hips, so not too wide, my loves. So I want us to feel actually that, so a moment pause. So where most of the movement is happening is in the thoracic, so the chest, rib part of the body, this cavity. And really in the belly moves because of the movement and the volume change in the thoracic cavity. So things have to move down and out to fit in all this movement happening here and all this breath happening here. But when we do it, so the exhale actually naturally is passive, it meaning that the pelvic floor diaphragm and the breathing diaphragm here, they drop as you exhale naturally to give space for breath. Inhale, and then exhale, they return. So it's about this exchange of oxygen from the outer world to the inner world. But when we add more effort to the exhale so it becomes active, you can feel the abdominal wall squeeze, you might feel the rib cage descend and the pelvic floor lift more tangibly. So this is quite a nice play of passive exhale and more engaged active exhale. So coming to the hands, the feet underneath you. So we might play with the exhales a little bit more. So let the inhale breath, so the rib cage, imagine the rib cage opens up to the side and knocks your arms out to the side and up. And then let's exhale, bend the knees, feel the length and spaciousness of your spine as you come down, hands to shins or floor. Let the inhale feed into the back ribs as you come up. And then exhale, hands down. Step the right foot back, bring the knee down and pop yourself up. Inhale, arms flow out and up to the side, touch the palms. Exhale, send the hands to the mat, come to all fours. Good. On your next exhale, bring your bum back, reach your hands forward. So find this rocking. Inhale, feed your weight into the hands, shoulders on wrists. Exhale, push hands forward, sink back. And then inhale, let this be the breath that exhales you all the way to the floor, hands underneath the shoulders. From that long spine, inhale, float the heart up. Make sure you're not squeezing your shoulder blades too much. Exhale, maybe with more active. Feel the abdominals lift as you push up onto hands and knees. Bring your bum back, breathe organically. Feel the weight of your torso, your spine fall into the legs as you reach up, down dog. Knees bent or knees straight. Let the abdominal wall Soften. And then keeping the breath organic, bring the knees down. Step the right foot forward between the hands, and then use the inhale breath to sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands meet the floor, step forward. Inhale into the back ribs, halfway lift. Exhale, move into your forward fold, let the arms come to the mat. So the hands come to the mat, and then inhale, find depth and volume in your breath as you reach the arms up overhead. And then exhale, hands reach down by the side. So do all that on the left. Maybe I'll speak less and we'll just cue the breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, find that long reach. Exhale, left foot back, knee down. Inhale, breath rising. Exhale, all fours, and let's bring the bum to heels. Reach with the arms. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, rock back. Inhale, rock forward, and exhale, fall gracefully to the mat, cobra. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, push up. And as you find your exhale and reorient your body, I really want you to take your time to feel the muscles and bones and connective tissue support this big movement of the body. Abdominal wall relaxes if possible to a point. Exhale, knees down, step left foot between your hands. Inhale, spacious torso. Exhale, hands down, step forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale. Arms up. Inhale, keep the front of the heart and back of the heart open. Spacious, and exhale, release. Good. So adding some poses in now. So from here, have your feet apart still. Let's come into Utkatasana chair. So I like to bring my hands on these creases. Lightly press back. Feel the sit bones widen and separate a little bit. And feel, or maybe bring your hands around the ribs and breathe out into the hands. And then exhale. Maybe adding more effort and find that sort of squeeze through abdominals, but not too hard. It's just like, oh, okay, I can play with this as well. And then inhale out, release everything. And then exhale. Just a touch of energy of squeeze. Inhale, release everything. This time have more of a passive exhale. How would that be? And then options here to add load to bring the arms over the head. For 3. Maybe sit a little bit more. Weight more into the heels and toes. 2. And then exhale. Let that be the releasing surrender breath. Maybe in Uttanasana you can straighten the legs without locking the knees. And then let's glide the right foot back and come into a lunge. So left knee on ankle. Bring the right palm on top of the thigh. So notice if you're dropping the thigh, and with that palm, gently lift it up so there's buoyancy. And then from here, let's bring the left elbow, left forearm all the way up into the twist. Inhale, send the hand down a little and slightly round the spine. So you're breathing into that back body again. And then exhale, send the heel and crown away and lean back, open the chest to the sky. One more time. Inhale, kind of conceal the front body, open the back body. And then exhale, twist and slightly lift the heart to the ceiling. And then let's bring the hand down, spin the right heel down. So in a warrior two position, hand can come to the front thigh to help you come up. So classically, it would be heel to back arch in that alignment. Yeah, and then send your arms shoulder height. So using the exhale to move and the inhale to return. So exhale, bring the back hand, so the right hand to the right leg, left arm over the head, knee on ankle. I can use the monitor to check that I'm doing that. And then inhale into the top lung and ribs and let that expansion be the thing that feels like it's bringing you back. Exhale into your side angle, really feather-like touch through the forearm. And then inhale into that top rib and feel like that's the thing, like a balloon being inflated, bringing you back. Exhale, lift, and kind of with control, you're like falling. Inhale, returning, exhaling. Let's hold here now in side angle. Can you feel that sense of that feeling of the bones feeding down into the floor? And then inhaling, exhaling, receiving the breath. How are you breathing here? How is this position meeting the breath and vice versa? Ooh. And then let's slowly come on up, past warrior two, straighten the front leg, and then turn the feet and slightly narrow the stance. You don't want to be too wide. Yes. And this could be useful if you want to block. If touching the floor like this is not comfortable, you can always bring a block here or use a brick or something like that, or a book. So hands find those hip points like we did in Utkatasana, chair pose. So let's find an exhale to find length as we bring the torso down. Let's bring the right hand to the floor. And the right hand is kind of underneath the face. So it's slightly in the center, like you're making a tripod with hands and feet. And then bring the other hand, the palm, finds the sacrum. So quite close to your bottom. Inhale, round the spine ever so slightly. So receive the inhale. And then exhale, lengthen and twist over to your left. Inhale, round a little bit, receive the breath, and then exhale, lengthen and twist. Maybe look up. Slowly come center, and change hands. Inhale, little round. Exhale, emerge and twist. Last time, inhale, avoid locking the knees. Exhale, maybe looking up. Slowly come back center. Maybe take a moment, hands to floor, bricks. Take a forward fold. Let the head be heavy like a bowling ball. And then let's bring the hands to the hips, knees soft, feet press, and inhale, safely come up with control. Bring the back foot, the one closest to the back of your mat, to the foot closest to the front. And we'll do tree pose. So let's stand on the right foot. And you can go here, heel to ankle. You can bring a hand to the wall. Or you can go foot to inner thigh. Whoa, and a little press. Avoid hanging out in that support hip. So find that lifting of the torso up. So a slight resistance of the will of gravity down. Yeah, and then inhale. Feel like the rib cage expanding out to the side is bringing your arms out shoulder height. You can stay here, that feels useful. Maybe gather the arms up overhead. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here. And I think a really lovely way to think about balance is that it's dynamic. So balance is never static. The body is never static. And if you are, there's something wrong. So actually, having variability is very healthy. So allow your body to organize and reorganize and wiggle and wobble. Once you find some form of steadiness, notice how you're breathing. Is it quiet? And know that that is the perfect way to breathe. As long as you're not holding your breath, you know. Hands don't come to heart. Knee comes forward. You can extend the knee if you like and press the foot to the floor. And then turning back to face the top of your mat, back into Utkatasana. Bend the knees. Yeah. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth or through lips, like you're blowing out birthday candles, and experience more of an energetic, more of a mechanical squeezing. And then you can try again, inhale and exhale really lightly. So it's a returning, natural, moving with the how things just naturally move in the body. And then options to reach the arms over the head, weight feeding more back into the heels, and then slowly release over the legs, maybe the legs straighten. Send the left leg back. Bring the left hand to the back thigh and notice if you're sagging and see if you can encourage a buoyancy through the inner thighs. Left hand down, elbow of right arm, unravels the forearm. Inhale slightly, breathe into the back space, and then exhale, lengthen, open, and emerge. Inhale. Movement can be just fit for purpose for you. Exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. And then bring the hands to the floor. Back heel comes down and come up to warrior two. Organize your legs, arms out to the side. Exhale, lift and descend. Inhale, inflate and return. And then exhale, move to side angle. Inhale through the top rib, come up. Exhale, you can even try the more active exhale. Inhale. This time let's hold side angle. Active or passive exhale, your choice. And explore the sense of body meeting the ground. And then imagine the breath being moved down into the lungs, into the blood, into the heart, into every cell. There's an exchange there, and then it comes all the way back and out into the environment. And then slowly make your way back up. Parallel your feet. I'm going to face profile because that's not so nice for you to see. Hands to hips. And then exhale, like you're lengthening and receiving the spine between the thighs. And we'll just do the same twisting. So let's bring left hand down, right hand here. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, little round. Exhale. Maybe you find a little bit more motion. Come center, exchange hands. Inhale. Breath behind you as well as in front of you as you exhale. So the breath, three-dimensional. Inhale. Exhale. And slowly come center. You can maybe even take your hands around your ankles, if appropriate. And then hands to the crease of your hips. Use your legs to support the spine and all the breath as you come up. Back foot foot comes forward to meet the front foot. I'm going to spin to face you. We can spin to face me as well. So other side. So now, what were we? We stand on our left foot. And I can't remember if I mirrored you. So you stand on your left foot. You go here, 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 here. And then avoid sinking and slouching. So find that rebound. What goes down goes up. Inhale, arms out to the side, maybe over the head. Remind yourself that balance is not static. The body is always moving. It's like a myth to think we need to be like statues. So the art is in the adaptability of being thrown off and coming back and trying again. And then, wherever you are with your hands, notice the breath. Internally ponder on the question, how am I breathing in this arrangement? And that's just right. And then to come out, knee comes center, options to extend the leg and then bring the foot down. And have a little jiggle around. Good. Come back to face forward. And then we'll move into a down dog position. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands fall down. So see if you can do this. It's a spacious and with as much breath as possible. Inhale, without overdoing it, obviously. And exhale. So there's a kind of easiness to this pattern of movement today. Down dog. Options to do the hands and knees, or inhale, cycle forward, feed the weight of your body into your hands. Plank. And then exhale, feed the weight of you into your feet. Inhale into your hands. Exhale into your feet. Inhale into your hands and come to your tummies. And then let's bring the forearms to the floor. So I'm going to shift back a little bit. So come into Sphinx pose. Tuck the toes under for a possibility. So elbows underneath shoulders, palms away. So they're kind of parallel to one another. So now let's actually, on purpose, use more of an active exhale to engage more the abdominal wall and the pelvic floor way. So that's the kind of main focus of coming in and out of plank. So inhale, and let's do exhale, blow through the mouth like you're blowing out candles. And at the bottom of the exhale, fly up onto the knees, bring the forearms down strongly. And then use the inhale breath to be the releasing, opening, expanding. So exhale, you can blow through candles if you like. Feel the abdominal muscles engage without bulging. And then inhale, release. Maybe do this twice more in your own time. Options to come off the knees now. So if everything's okay in the abdominals, you can fly off the knees. If you feel too much pressure in the abdominal wall, keep the knees down, or too much pressure in the lower back. And you might want to hang out in plank for a moment, a couple of beats. Observe the breath as you're working the abdominals fairly strongly and the arms and shoulders are working. And notice that the breath is probably somewhat restricted. No belly breathing happening here, I'm guessing. And then when you're ready, slowly come down. And then bring your forearms out a little bit. Keep your elbows where they are. And then let's use an exhale to come up into a variation of cobra. Inhale. Exhale. So anatomically, the spine actually lengthens and elongates as we exhale. And the spine naturally flexes, meaning it comes forward, rounds, as we inhale. And slowly come down. Let's do that 1 or 2 more times. Inhale, maybe even round the upper back. Exhale, press down and lift into your spinal extension. Inhale, come down. So reversing the breath, that's what we normally do in yoga. Inhale into the back body. And then exhaling. It doesn't have to be too strenuous, the exhale this time, a little bit more passive, more receptive. And then slowly come back down, hands underneath the shoulders. And then let's shift the bum back upon the heels for Balasana. This time let the elbows drop, let the forehead come down. And I'll sit up like this. You can always do this as a variation with the head in the hands, or bringing the head to the floor. And notice a more chill breath. So maybe now that there's less muscular effort happening after the plank poses and whatnot, the navel, let the navel drop and lift and fall and rise without doing any performance of the breath. So it's just, oh, okay, I have space now for it all to hang out. And then let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders and pop yourself up. And we'll do a variation of camel. I'm going to fold my mat like this for my knees. And then let's tuck the toes. You can always squeeze a brick between your thighs if that gives you more a sense of support and hugging in. Bring one hand, back of the hand between the shoulder blades, if that's comfortable enough. If it's not comfortable on your shoulder, don't worry about it. And then bring one hand to just underneath the collarbones. I'm going to swap so I'm not involving my mic. Like this. Yeah. So let's do a reverse breath than we would normally do in yoga practice. Inhale into your back hand. And so maybe feeling a little expanding and rounding. And then exhaling, imagine the spine lengthening and then lifting up into your top palm. Inhale, returning. Exhale, extending. Last time, inhale. Exhale, the spine emerging. And you can stay here, really joyful place. Or perhaps you want to touch the hands around the heels and then really lift up and enjoy this moment in camel. Squeeze through the inner thighs to bring yourself back up center. And sit upon your heels. Good. And then let's bring the legs forward. And it's actually quite nice to have a little bit of a rolled mat underneath the knees. That can feel really nice. Let's do a twist. So let's bring the right foot up. You can bring it close to your bottom, or maybe today you want to go a bit more chill and bring the foot close to your calf, about a palm's width away from the leg, and wrap the other arm around. And we'll do the same pattern. Inhale into the back body. Exhale, rising and rotating, spiraling. Last time, inhale, maybe coming out a little bit, maybe chilling, softening, receiving. And then exhaling, returning, and then reaching up and spiraling. Coming back center, and then let's go the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Eyes really easy. Inhale, last time. And then exhale, maybe look behind you. And slowly come center. Lengthen both legs for a forward fold. Options to bend the knees, options to have a rolled blanket or something underneath there if you need more support for your legs. Bring the hands down, and then let's start to walk the fingertips forward. So we often think that, should I have my spine round? Should I have my spine long and extended? So notice that there's actually, if with this either, there's no really right answer because we will have different bodies. So here, the spine is in extension, meaning it's sort of, or neutral. And then C, you can do this with a mirror or maybe ideally just by feeling it, but that can take time. Notice where you think, oh, I'm feeling a little rounding coming in. So you might feel it beginning at the lower back. There's a natural rounding. And this is going to happen because we have a lot of stuff, guts, pushing the spine this way. And then we have to fit the breath in there as well. So at some point, you might allow a little rounding. Maybe the inhale, you really go into that rounding. And then you exhale and find that emergence of that long spine. Yeah, so you might have a moment to play there until you feel ready and comfortable enough, and maybe there's an invitation to come forward. So much like there's no static balancing, there's absolutely no straight lines in the body. Curves, spirals, sweeping lines, no straight lines. I don't think there's any straight lines in nature either, which would make sense. And then slowly pad yourself up. Ooh. Let the mat go long, move your props out of the way for the moment, and then come onto your back in a way that feels useful. And we'll come flow in and out of bridge, coming towards the end. So heels underneath the knees, feet apart. And then before we move, can you once again observe now that you're with gravity, you're meeting gravity? Is there a shift in the quality of your breath? So, bridge pose. Let's exhale. Really drum down into the feet. And let's use the exhale to begin that curling of the pelvis. And then inhale. Feel the volume change of your rib cage, front, back, and sides as you reach the top. And then exhale, knowing anatomically your spine is lengthening. So slowly curl down as your spine lengthens. Inhale at the bottom to let everything go. Receive your inhale. Exhale, feed your weight into your shoulders and mainly your feet. And then inhale at the top, expanding, opening, breath flooding into the body. And then exhale, lengthening and letting everything go as you inhale at the bottom. The diaphragms of the bodies drop a little bit as you inhale because of the pressure, and then exhaling, rolling up. And then let's hold. Choice to stay here, folks. Choice to go more classic, interlace the fingers and snuggle the shoulder blades close. And as you do that, as you bring the shoulder blades together, if you've gone for this option, how are you breathing? Where is there space? Where is there not much space? How are you managing your breath here? And then slowly release. Let the shoulder blades spread as you come down. Arms out and gently rock your knees from side to side, just to ease off that sense there. And let's come into a supine or lying down Sukhasana. So cross one shin in front of the other. So you can always put roll blankets or cushions underneath both knees. You can have a cushion underneath the head. Yeah. So if you're feeling a lot of strain in your knees or around your hips, please support your knees. Everything's okay in the shoulders. You can take the elbows above the head. And you can even bring a block or something and place the block underneath your forearms if this is too much movement. So you could have pillows underneath both your knees, a pillow underneath your head, a block or a book underneath your forearms. You can slightly tuck your wings of your shoulder blades in a little bit if that's more comfortable. So now as we move towards the close, so I should have said make sure you're warm, so you might quickly want to pause the video, grab socks, jumpers, blankets and all the stuff. Because it's really hard to be internally focused when you're cold. Because you're too busy thinking about how cold you are, so make sure you're warm, turn the heating on. So reminding ourselves of the inner workings of the breath as we rest here in this laying Sukhasana, Supta meaning lying. The breath or the oxygen moving in through the nose, down into the lungs, and it branches off into the right and left lung. And you definitely could imagine the branches of a tree, how they divide and get smaller and smaller, and then there's leaves at the end. And we have similar type things. We have these alveoli, globules, and they're kind of wrapped in capillaries so that there's this sort of exchange, this porous membrane of oxygen and carbon dioxide. And they can exchange the legs, by the way, and exchange the arm or move their hands if that's not comfortable. And then this oxygen then gets moved into the heart, and then the heart and the movement of the body moves the blood into the arteries and into the body, into every cell, every tissue of every part of your body, nearly, mostly. Is fed with O2, oxygen, and in the cell they metabolize this O2 and they breathe and create energy. And there's waste. CO2 then moves back into the blood, into the veins, moving up into the heart. So movement helps this flow. So it's not just the heart taking on the burden of pumping the blood around. We need to move the blood as well by practicing asana, skipping, jumping, running. And then it gets moved back into the branch or the leaves of our lungs, the alveoli, and they take on this exchange is happening. And then we exhale the CO2 out into the environment. And you're very welcome to stay here or begin now to lengthen the legs out into Shavasana. Or you might want to choose to side lie, so you can be in any surface of your body to close. And I'm going to sit up for this moment so that my voice is clear. Again, making sure you're warm. Once you're in a position that feels comfortable, eyes closed if possible, and observe the weight of your body meeting the ground and the ground surrounding and spreading out underneath you, so you're completely physically held. And without manipulating or performing the breath in any way, observe your breath. So turn your inner awareness, your mind's eye,
to the sense of your breath. Where do you feel the breath most predominantly? Is it the temperature of the breath? Is it the movement of the breath, chest, ribs, belly? And there's absolutely no wrong way to do this. Your way is the perfect way. And now I'd like for you to visualize in your mind's eye a sphere, a kind of a liquidy-like sphere, and it can be in any color, any size you imagine. It can be in any location of your body. It might be floating above you, in front of you, in you. And as you visualize this sphere, you notice that there's movement, there's a kind of expanding and condensing shape change of this sphere. And as you watch this movement and shape change, this expanding, radiating, condensing and returning of this sphere, you begin to become aware that it's in sync with your breath. So as you breathe, so does this sphere. Expanding and condensing. Receiving and giving of the breath. And then beginning to let this image fade until it's just you breathing naturally at rest, comfortably on the ground. And slowly beginning to externalize the senses, so acknowledging the sounds you hear around you, maybe inviting some movement into your body, fingers and toes wiggling. You could swallow and wet the lips, yawn, stretch, and then roll to one side and rest in a fetal position. And then open the eyes, look down, and then make your way up to seated, collecting any props you need. Eyes remain down. Once you're there, eyes can then reclose. Hands, palms down. I think sometimes that has a kind of more of a sthira, more of a stabilizing effect. And palms up can sometimes have more of a sukha or easeful, receptive sense. So maybe today you need to feel more in your boots, or today you maybe wish to feel a little bit more engaged and ready to take on the world. And with the eyes settling closed once again if appropriate. You can lightly bow the head towards the breath, the heart, the body. And you might even, just for a moment, be in awe of this miracle of breath, this play of being and doing, of participating and not. Hands can come to the heart, or maybe to the body, and again, further sort of reverence to your breath. And with great respect and love, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.